Palantir's earnings is right around the corner. It's literally going to be coming out in a week from now. The question is, what can you expect and what are you doing as an investor to go over the numbers? I'm going to be covering the earnings live with Arnaldo and Emmanuel on this channel, which is going to be absolutely dope because you're going to get the perspective from 3 different investors. And I assure you, we all have a completely different investing mindset and a completely different investing strategy and style. With that said, a lot of great YouTubers are coming out with DCFs, which stands for a discounted cash flow model. And a DCF is essentially you're trying to predict the price of the stock in the future as it is today, or based on future growth, what the share price of a stock should be. And then you multiply it by the PE ratio and you get an actual valuation for your stock. Very simple. There's some fantastic YouTubers right now. Palantir Vision has a series about that. Definitely go watch that. I know Tom Nash did one of these. I'm sure Sasha has one of these. And these are fantastic YouTubers that are far more technical than me and will do a far better job than me. However, I am making my DCFs and I am going to give that to my Patreon members. As I'm making one and I'm going over the numbers preparing for Monday's earnings, I decided, hey, if I'm an investor and I'm a new investor, what are the basic numbers that I would need to know going into earnings just so I'm familiar with everything? Earnings can be super, super overwhelming, especially if you have no business background and especially if you've never looked at earnings before. I had my own business for 19 years and I had a couple of real estate businesses and I've been a stock investor for just a little bit. My experience is not the best. However, I do have some experience, so it makes it a lot easier for me than you. Now, some of you guys have a lot of experience as well, but I'm noticing that a lot of my subscribers are coming from one of my crypto channels and a lot of you guys don't have a lot of experience with sound investing. And that's great. We're on a journey together. And since we're on a journey together, I wanted to give you some basic numbers that I believe every investor should know about a company. The basic numbers are going to be revenue growth month over month, year over year, how much percentage you're growing month over month, year over year, and operating losses in both a number and a percentage. Besides for that, I wanted you guys to know that we have a commercial sector and we have a government sector. I wanted to show you how much we're growing in each, and the commercial I broke down into US commercial and international commercial. And now I made some very simple charts for you guys to understand. This is the first chart right here. Now, the green represents how much revenue we actually grew, and the red represents the operating loss of how much we had. So in Q1 of 2021, we grew $376 million, $392 million in Q3, $432 million in Q4, and $446 million in Q1. All you got to do is do the math and you could come up with your percentages, but I did it right there. We grew 49% from Q1 to Q2, 36 from Q2 to Q3, 34 from Q3 to Q4, and 31 between Q4 and Q1. The question is, how big are we going to grow between Q1 and Q2? Palantir estimates that we're going to be growing 30% year over year up until 2025, which is the case for the growth of Palantir. This is what we're all expecting. However, Palantir also predicted that we're only going to be growing to $470 million as a base case. I want to just make that very clear, as a base case. And if we only grow to $470 million, that's only around a 25% growth year over year. How do you figure out that it's only 25% year over year? Well, you take the Q2 numbers of 2021, which was $376 million, and then you take the $470 million that we're estimating we're going to have right now. And if you take 470 to 376, this is approximately a 25% gain year over year. Very, very simple math. You don't need to be a genius to figure these basic things out. And if I'm wrong in my math, guys, don't troll me. Just let me know down below and we're going to fix it. Now, I'm not taking into account little fractions. Sometimes I went up, sometimes I went down, but this is pretty accurate to the numbers. Now, this is literally from Palantir's earnings. They said for Q2 2022, we are guiding to a base case of $470 million in revenue. There is a wide range of potential upside to our guidance, including those driven by our role in responding to developing geopolitical events. Guys, it's very, very important to understand when they say that, that means that they're involved in Ukraine. I believe they were involved in Ukraine for the last 6 months. I believe there's a lot of contracts that are going to be coming out of Ukraine and a lot of government contracts, both domestically and abroad because of this, and commercial, but mostly government contracts, specifically government military contracts. It usually takes 6 to 12 months to procure these contracts. I don't know how it would work in a foreign country. It is what it is. Will those contracts be signed for this earnings? That's the big question over here. And that's why they said the base case. Siam Shankar, who's our chief financial officer, if I'm not mistaken, came out and says, yes, we have contracts in Ukraine, or we have contracts with a lot of governments. Let me rephrase what he said, and I'm paraphrasing. And he basically said, look, we're not going to not help somebody just because they didn't sign the contracts. A lot of people are in big trouble and we needed to help them. We're going to sign contracts later, which means there's a lot of money that didn't come out yet. But the United States, President Biden, did sign some crazy multiple tens of billions of dollars of aid to Ukraine. Where do you think some of that money is going to go? Well, some of that money is going to go to actually help Ukraine internally. But a lot of that money is also going to go to buy weapons and buy software and buy developments for the military, both physical developments, but also software developments, cyber developments. And that's where Palantir comes in. I'm not going to be naive and say Palantir is the only one. However, Palantir is going to get a large share of that money coming in. The question is, are they going to get it for this or not this quarter? That's why I believe they said the base case is $470 million. So a lot of people like, Adam, well, what are you looking for in earnings? What do you want in earnings? I would like a minimum of that 30% growth. And if you take the $376 million and you times it by 1.3, you're getting around $488 million. So I want the revenue to be $488 million as opposed to the $470 million that they're stating. It's the base case scenario. Can we get to 488? Yes, it's possible. Some people are saying that we're going to get 500 million. I don't know what's going to happen. If we beat the base case that we stated, look for Palantir to take off in double digits. If we only get the base case, look for Palantir to possibly go down. And if we miss the base case, we are totally. The second thing that I wanted to go over is operational loss. So if you look at this chart right here, the red signifies operational loss. So in quarter one of 2021, we had 146 million, which accounts for 39%. These are negative, right? Negative 146, negative 39%. But then quarter three, we had negative 91 and negative 23%, which means it's diminishing, right? 146 to 91 and 39 to 23. Then we had negative 59 and negative 14%, and then we had negative 39 and negative 9%. I'm looking for $488 million in revenue, and I'm also looking for that 9% to go down. When that 9% hits zero, that means we are now a profitable company. And that's what I want, and that's when the stock should take off. A lot of people are saying that we're not going to hit it this quarter. I have no idea one way or the other. I just want that number to go down. If that 9% is something like 5%, 6%, 4%, I will be happy as long as we also get the $488 million in revenue. This is what I'm personally looking forward to. Now, I hope this was not too difficult and that was very easy for you guys to understand. These are the very basic, like honestly basic level numbers that all investors should understand when it comes to Palantir. Now let's look at the growth for the last couple of years. Again, these charts I do by myself. This is the first time I've ever made a chart for financials. So please bear with me. But let me tell you what this is. So you have three things over here. You have a green, you have a red, and you have a blue. Green denominates the government revenue growth year over year. The red is the commercial revenue growth year over year total. And the blue is specifically for the United States commercial growth year over year. I'm going to give you the actual numbers. Government was 76, then it went to 66, then it went to 34, then it went to 26, and then it went to 16. That's why you see that green line consistently going down, down, down. For commercial business, this is total commercial business. We went from 19% growth, 28% growth, 37% growth, 47% growth, and then 54% growth. Pretty good. U.S. commercial, just U.S., we went from 72% to 90% to 103% to 132% to 136%. Also, not so bad. Our whole business was all government. In the beginning, people says, oh, you have so much government is growing, but you don't have any commercial. Then they're like, okay, commercial is growing, but you don't have any international commercial. Now the critics are partially right. In the last quarter, we literally went from 47 to 54 for commercial, but that's only an increase of around 8% year over year. Before that, the increase was 10% year over year. And before that, similar, double digits. So we actually decreased to single digits. If you look at the US commercial, that means that we did grow internationally, but the US kind of slowed down. We only grew 4% year over year. That's terrible. As opposed to all the other years, we grew in double digits. Now, I understand that this growth is diminished over time, but still, it sucks. I'm not going to lie. So I'm looking for these numbers to actually go up. I'm hopefully that commercial and US commercial goes up by a minimum of double digits. And the government, I'm looking to massively go up, massively. So in other words, we've been diminishing with government like crazy. We need that government business to go up from 16, like double at least. That's what I'm looking forward to, what's going to happen right now. These are predictions that I have, or hopes that I have. And it's very important for you guys to have your own predictions as investors and start getting familiarized with all of these numbers. I know everything is hard. It's not easy to go over these numbers. All of these numbers I'm taking from the presentations from Palantir. It's very, very easy to keep track of it. You just have to put a little bit of effort into it. With that said, I'm going to see everybody on Monday morning with Emmanuel and Arnaldo. I'm pretty sure Tom, Amit, and Sasha are going to be doing something as well. Remember, us three, me, Emmanuel, and Arnaldo, have better accents than Sasha, Tom, and Amit. Guys, in all seriousness, you can't go wrong with anybody watching any of their channels. I'm just joking. I love all of these YouTubers. And literally, Emmanuel, Arnaldo, Tom, Sasha, Amit, and me, we're all YouTubers. And there's other great YouTubers in the Palantir community. I hope these numbers helped you a little bit. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that are so much smarter than me in technicals, but I don't think any of them are breaking it down to very, very simple numbers that everyday Joes can understand. And at the end of the day, we're all just everyday Joes trying to make it in this world. Thank you. I'll see you guys in a week. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and like to the channel.